In our previous video, we got you up to speed with the Elder Scrolls universe known as Mundus. Now keep in mind, as stated before, that humans aren't the only ones living here. There are a total of 10 basic races on Tamriel, one corresponding to each province, with the exception of the Orcs. The Argonians of Blackmarsh live in the most inhospitable area of Tamriel. It's a swampland full of insects, poisonous plants, and disease. Their land is so inhospitable that anybody other than themselves can only go so far into the forest without dying. The Argonians have adopted to their swampy marshland and even show ambitious traits such as breathing underwater using gills behind their ears. They are also extremely alert, and by nature, they're extremely reliable. Argonians don't have a specific religion, but they do worship trees called the Hist. When the Argonians eat the sap of the Hist, they can communicate with them through hallucination-like visions. It also acts somewhat like a steroid, enhancing their abilities. They believe their very souls are tied to these trees, so they believe that after death, they are reborn into another Argonian. The Altmer, better known as High Elves of the Somerset Isles, have an extremely boastful attitude, and it's understandable why. They claim to be the first innocents, the first farmers, mages, and scholars. In fact, they are so boastful that they have their own tower. The Crystal Tower was not made to honor a king or a queen, but rather to dedicate their ancestors. They feel that they are a master race, and they treat themselves as such. High Elves are known to be a tall, golden-skinned race that drinks the finest wine and wears the finest clothing. High Elves also tend to live longer than most races. However, during those years, they are always trying to be perfect at whatever they do. In fact, it is quite likely that they have the most civilized society in the entire universe. These scholars are by far the best mages in Tamriel, and they like to show it off. Their whole culture is centered around magic, with being the perfectionist of Tamriel. The Bosmer, better known as Wood Elves, are not the same as their High Elf cousins. In fact, the Wood Elves despise the High Elf culture. They prefer a more simple existence. In other words, they want to be one with nature. So where's a better place than the biggest forest in Tamriel? The Wood Elves live in Valenwood, a giant forest biome in southern Tamriel. It is religiously guarded, and it is untouched by man. The trees rise into the sky, and plants are almost everywhere. Unlike the Altmer, they are a shorter race, and they don't focus on magic. This race is proficient in using a bow and an arrow. In fact, they are the best archers in all of Tamriel. Ironically, the Wood Elves don't use wood for their weapons, but they use bones. When a Wood Elf kills, every part of the corpse is used. This is because of a pact made with a forest god to never use its berries or wood, so they are strictly carnivores. For making this pact, the Wood Elves are protected when they are in their own land. However, other races frown upon their pact due to the eating of the corpse. Remember how I said that no meat goes unused? This includes people as well. The Wood Elves are cannibals because of this pact. They are less likely to kill because they know they will have to eat the corpse. So they are the most pacifistic race in Tamriel. The Bretons live in the temperate climate in the high mountains of the province of High Rock. It has perfect weather, so it has attracted many different cultures. The Bretons are a cross between humans and elves, even though they look more human. However, this mixture makes them the best spellblades, or warriors, that are proficient in both blade and spell. They look like the Imperials in appearance, but they have intelligence almost similar to the Altmer. Unfortunately, when it comes to politics, they are the most divided race. They have a class social system. There is the first and lowest class of the peasants. Above them there are the magical elite, and above them the ruling noble families. This sounds like an unfair area to grow, but many Bretons rise up to the challenge of climbing the ladder of nobility. Their persistence have driven them to incredible achievements. These ash-skinned natives live in the ash-filled land of Morrowind. The Dark Elves, also known as the Dunmer, have earned the name Dark Elf due to their skin color. They are about the height of a regular human, but they have an extra long lifespan, such as living to the age of 300. Like the Bretons, the Dark Elves have extremely balanced physical attributes. They are good with a blade, but adept in magic. The Dunmer specialize in destruction spells. The Dark Elves are probably the most arrogant of all the races. They see people as the same level as animals. In fact, slavery is still a practice in their culture. They keep to themselves and are seen as cruel. In fact, they believe that their oldest ancestors are the Daedra. So instead of worshipping the divines like most of Tamriel, they worship the Daedra. The Khajiit are a race of feline humanoids living in the province of Elsewhere. They live in a desert-like area similar to Hammerfell. But further south, there is beautiful vegetation. To learn of the Khajiit society, you must know of their two deities that revolve around their world, Masser and Secunda, which are the two moons in the sky. Each Khajiit depends on these two moons to choose what variety of Khajiit they will be. They all appear like a small feline, but the moons choose one of the 24 types of Khajiit that will be born. The Khajiit are extremely stealthy and intelligent, which makes them great thieves. They enjoy fame and learn from actions instead of reading. They are exceedingly acrobatic and can move through the trees like squirrels. In fact, Khajiit aren't even allowed inside some city walls due to more bigoted opinions. Those opinions aren't exactly misplaced. Most of the Khajiit people are sneaky thieves and know how to rip anyone off on a deal.